How much money did I make self-publishing on Amazon KDP in November? Let's find out. So November is the start of the Q4 Christmas boom, and that means increased sales and increased profit. But what does that look like for me? Let's take a look. Now quickly, just before I get into my results, I want to share my goals that I set myself for November. And that was to publish 3 books. I wanted to focus on slightly higher quality giftable products rather than going for quantity. I wanted to achieve 1,500 book orders and hit $2,500 in monthly profit. And I'm happy to say that I did all 3 of those things. So we're off to a good start. So this is what I got up to in terms of publishing over November. I created 5 colouring books. They were in giftable areas for adults. I published 7 videos on this YouTube channel and got 50,000 views. And then I also made 2 pre-made book covers to kind of keep my Etsy shop ticking along. Now into what you actually want to know, and that's how many books did I sell in November? Well, in November, I sold 2,894 copies. So that's a big increase from previous months, and that's because of that Q4 boom. And if you look at this graph here, you can see at the start of the month, it's very steady, but as you get into the middle of November, you can see those orders beginning to rise. Now there's a small dip on the 28th of November, and that's because of Thanksgiving. So that happens every year from what I've seen so far. So that's just a little anomaly. But other than that, the month is going really, really strong, and the orders are continuing to rise throughout the month. As you can see here, most of my books are still sold in the United States, but I do sell a lot in the UK as well. What I've been focusing on over the past year is increasing those sales in Canada, so that marketplace is becoming a real significant influence as well on my orders. And then I sell some in Australia and then just a few in other countries as well. Now what I wanted to do next is just show you the power of launching a book effectively and just getting organic sales every month. So this is my #1 best-selling book over the past year, and just taking a look at this one book alone, in November I received 471 sales on this one book. This had no ads running to it, so this was pure organic sales, and this one book would have made me maybe $700 in royalties. I released this over a year ago and it's still getting organic sales. And this book is the reason why now I focus on quality rather than quantity, because this was a high quality book and therefore I believe it's getting ongoing sales as well. So seeing the success of this book made me kind of shift my aim to creating high quality content that could continue to sell in the long term. So hopefully this gives you some inspiration that, if you create high quality books and if you get them ranking for, good search terms, that you can get ongoing sales. Now in November, how much did I earn from Amazon KDP? I made $5,921 in royalties. For my Brits out there, that's approximately £4,664. So a fantastic month of self-publishing. It's awesome to see in November those royalties increase. The graph below reflects the orders. You can see the slight rise in royalties throughout the month, which is great. But that figure of almost $6,000 is fantastic. And I'm just eager with anticipation to see what that might be in December. But that didn't take into account my ads. And as there've been more people shopping in November, my ad spend has increased quite dramatically as well. So let's get into that now. So my ad spend in the US was $755. In the UK, I spent £566. In Canada, I spent $201. And in Australia, just $9. But hopefully what you can see from this slide is I have been tweaking my ads really successfully over the past few months. So yes, I'm spending quite a lot on ads, but you can see that ACoS there. The highest ACoS that I've got is 22.85% in the US, which is still almost break even for me on the majority of my books. In the UK, that ACoS is probably break even or slightly profitable on most of my books. And then in Canada and Australia, that ACoS is well above break even. So I'm spending a lot on ads, but I'm making money on the majority of my sales. So tallying all of my ad results up, I got 6,211 clicks, spent an estimate of $1,668 in total across all of my ads. I received 865 orders through my ads, which meant that my average clicks to order was 7.2. So that's definitely improved on my other months, which I'll go into a little more in depth in a moment. And that means that my estimated cost per sale across all of my ads was $1.92. So that means across all of my ads in November, for me to get a sale through ads, it was costing me $1.92. So looking at that, I know that say if I was getting a $2 royalty on all of my books, I'd be making a profit. Speaking of profit, let's get into how much I actually took home in November. So my income was $5,922. My ad spend was $1,668. My expenses was just my AI software, which was $36, which meant my take-home profit for November was $4,254. That's approximately £3,340. So an absolutely fantastic month of self-publishing. But there are a few takeaways that I just want to share with you right now before we get into anything else. And that is more people are searching on Amazon, so I've seen my ad spend increase just organically as well. So one watch out for you if you're running ads in November and December is that some of your old ads might come back to life and you might see your spend increase. So just keep an eye on your ads dashboard. A fantastic thing that I've seen in November is my conversion rate has increased on similar ads to what I was running. So my conversion rate in November compared to October was 7.2 clicks to an order, whereas in October it was 9.1. So I think that shows the increased demand for people shopping on Amazon. You know, they're more likely to purchase in November and December because of Christmas and holidays and those kind of things. That also meant that my cost per sale is better than last month. So it's $1.93 per sale through ads compared to $2.38 in October. So that kind of shows the power of using ads in November and December. They're more likely to be profitable. But one thing I do want to share is, I'm not completely reliant on ads. A little over 70% of my sales are organic. So that means around 30% are driven through ads, which I think is incredibly important on Amazon. But if I turned all of my ads off, I would still continue to get some sales. Now, just having a little look at what that kind of increase in demand looks like. So this is looking at my orders from October to November. And you can see there when you zoom out that there's a really nice gradual increase from the beginning of October up to the end of November. And the hope is that in December, that curve is going to increase even more. And if we take another step back and look at 2024 as a whole, you can see that throughout the whole of the year, the sales and the profit is pretty consistent with a very slow gradual rise. But then in November, you can see that huge Q4 peak begin. So in November, my orders and my profit was almost double what it has been throughout the rest of the year. Just to see the year-on-year growth as well, comparing it back to last year, you can see that my orders have almost doubled, my income has almost doubled, and my profit has gone from $2,400 up to $4,254. And on the right here, you can see a little snapshot of what my growth looked like in November of 2023. And if you compared that back into earlier in the video, it's very similar in terms of the growth throughout the month. But yeah, in 2024, I'm getting a load more orders and getting more revenue and more profit. And so that's exactly what we want to be seeing on Amazon KDP. It's that gradual rise as I create more books, launch them effectively using ads, and then ideally year on year, I'll continue to see growth like this. Wrapping up the month as a whole, I saw a huge increase in demand for books. So that led to more orders, more revenue, and more profit. November was also a fantastic month to up ad spend. So if you've got a good amount of budget to give to your ads, I'd recommend November and December, increasing your spend where you can. And as mentioned earlier, some of my old ads kind of came back to life. They weren't really serving at all, so I just left them on. And then I noticed impressions and clicks going to them over the past month. So that can be really helpful with getting cheap clicks. So if you've got some ongoing ads that, aren't really serving, I wouldn't necessarily turn them off. Just leave them there at the lower bids, and you never know if they could come back to life like a couple of mine did in November. Now, onto my goals for December and the pinnacle of publishing on Amazon. So in December, I'm going to focus more on this YouTube channel and my ads and those kind of things. So I'm only going to aim to publish 2 high quality books, but I'm going to try and aim for 4,000 book sales, which would be my biggest month ever. Then in terms of profit, I'm aiming high and I want to get over $6,000 in profit for the month. Will I get over $6,000 profit in a single month on Amazon KDP? You'll have to tune back into the channel next month to find out. So that's it for another income report, and I hope that these videos are helpful for you just to show, what's possible, show you trends that I'm learning, sharing my insights along the way. If you have any other ideas of things you'd like to see in these monthly videos, drop a comment down below. But that's it for this one. Make sure to click that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.